Bean Marsh Boxing back at it with another boxing video. So, two-time gold medal Olympian Robeisy Ramirez will be back in the ring tonight, July the 2nd, 2020. Those who do know Robeisy Ramirez, I've watched him since the Olympics. I've seen him since the 2012 Olympics, winning gold medals. 2016 Rio Brazil Olympics, won another gold medal. And this guy made his pro debut 11 months ago, and I was right there in front of my television set, ready to see what Robeisy Ramirez career trajectory is going to look like, especially coming in months, probably a couple years or two after guys like, you know, a lot of the Olympians from the 2016 Olympics. You know what I mean? 11 months ago was like what, 2019. What are we in now? We're in July. So August of 2019, guys like Shakur Stevenson had already been a pro about 3 years by that time, and Shakur Stevenson lost to the man Robeisy Ramirez in the gold medal round in the 2016 Olympics. Okay, this guy Robeisy Ramirez, man, he's overcome a lot. Any, like I always say, any. That's why I support the Cuban fighters all day, every day. Any Cuban fighter you see on your TV screen has gone through hell and back, has faced a lot of adversities, just for you to be able to see him on TV. You know what I mean? Robeisy Ramirez escaped from Cuba. Went through drug cartels. Probably had to give him some paper to get smuggled across the border. You know what I mean? Going through armed checkpoints. The man even came to USA, as you see in the thumbnail. The man had to bleach his hair. You know what I'm saying? He did what he had to do to get up out the Cuban sports system. You know what I mean? Where he couldn't be a professional, he'd just have to remain an amateur. He'd accomplished everything an amateur could. Okay, and that was winning two gold medals in two different Olympics, 4 years apart. You know what I'm saying? So his pro debut, he fought a guy by the name of Adan Gonzalez. Adan Gonzalez was a guy who was, I'm not going to say a journeyman, but in his career, his record is 5 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, and 2 knockouts. That's the guy Robeisy Ramirez faced in his pro debut, and he lost. You know what I mean? It was quite shocking, especially when he got dropped in the first round. You know what I mean? Maybe he was overwhelmed with the pro debut factor of having a big, excuse me, big crowds. You know what I'm saying? Just the pro factor rather than and also the amateur style you know that he's used to. Aiden Gonzalez ain't a veteran, but he was well equipped for the pro game, especially by dropping the man Robeisy Ramirez in the first round. You know what I mean? So that fight was in August of 2019. Robeisy Ramirez has had 3 fights since then. Won all 3 fights. I covered his last fight. It's right here on my YouTube channel. And he knocked out his opponent. Knocked him out viciously. And that was like a few weeks ago. About a month ago, you know what I mean? So he's had 3 fights since that pro debut loss. Aiden Gonzalez has had no fights. He hasn't fought. Oh, man. He hasn't fought at all since that fateful night, that night in August in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? Um, so tonight, Robeisy Ramirez, 26 years old, is ready to avenge that loss. Can he get it done? I think the chips are on the table, and the chips and the deck is stacked against the man Aiden Gonzalez. He hasn't been active. The man Robeisy Ramirez might have been overwhelmed that night by his pro debut, but at the end of the day, I think he's a better fighter. He's displaying power. Actually, in his last few fights, he knocked out his opponent in like 54 seconds in his last fight. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna read some quotes from the man, Robeisy Ramirez. Uh, Robeisy Ramirez said, "quote I learned that there I learned that there are no easy opponents in boxing. There are a lot of things in professional fighting that I wasn't accustomed to that I know now. I didn't lock myself in my bedroom after the loss. I tried to stay positive among the negative stuff. I took it as a learning experience. That's what I've been working on. I definitely learned from that first fight. But that was my fault. Even though I feel that way, I studied him and I started a little slow. I got knocked down, but I still think I won." End quote. So that's basically the man Ramirez talking about being surprised by getting dropped in his first fight and losing. You know, what I mean, he said, "quote But that was my fault. Even though I felt that way, I studied him and I started a little slow, and I got knocked down, but I still think I won the fight." End quote. Quote. I'm fighting for him on July 2nd. Okay, sorry, that's different quotes. So those are the quotes from the man Adan Gonzalez. I'm sorry, Robeisy Ramirez. So Aiden Gonzalez, like I said, who hasn't fought since that night in August, and the fight was in Philadelphia where Robeisy Ramirez suffered his first loss. Well, Aiden Gonzalez hasn't fought since, but he was offered this rematch about 2 weeks ago. You see, this is what I'm saying. The deck is and the chips they stacked against the man Aiden Gonzalez. He was how much time did he have to prepare? You know what I'm saying? Being given this fight, being offered the fight 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? The main reason he hasn't been fighting since he beat Robeisy Ramirez is because he suffered an elbow injury. You know what I mean? And it actually slowed down his activity after beating Ramirez last year. But Aiden Gonzalez is also coming into this fight with a heavy heart, and he's going to feel very motivated, and he's trying to come, you know, he's trying to avenge the murder of his cousin. Okay, his cousin was named Jeremiah Baca, and in January, during an attempted robbery in Denver, he got murdered. Quotes from the man Aiden Gonzalez. He says, "quote I'm fighting for him on July 2nd. I'm not fighting just for me. I'm fighting for my kids, my family, and my city. All the attention is on me." End quote. Robeisy Ramirez is also upset that that first fight was only made, his pro debut was a 4 rounder rather than a 6 rounder. And Robeisy Ramirez says, "quote Otherwise, Gonzalez would never beat me. This time around, he isn't going to surprise me. I know his boxing skills. I have the doctor, Ishmael Salas, training me. He taught me professional boxing. I saw in another interview that Gonzalez said I would feel his power this time around. I don't know what he's talking about because he knocked me down when I was off balance. What he did the whole fight was push me. He can say whatever he wants. I'm taking this fight just another fight. What I want to show everyone this time around is that I'm completely different from the Robeisy he faced the first time. It's better that this happened in my pro debut than later in my career. I'm going to show that I'm getting better with each fight." End quote. So Robeisy Ramirez is trying to avenge his first loss of his pro career, and don't be surprised if he probably dismantles, and batters Aiden Gonzalez. This is just real talk, you know what I mean? I was quite shocked with how the man Robeisy Ramirez lost that fight. I made a video on it, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people were quite shocked as well, you know what I mean? But no shame in Robeisy Ramirez game, Guys like Juan Manuel Marquez and B Hop, they lost in their very first professional fights. Look how their careers turned out. They ended up being great Hall of Fame caliber type fighters. Not caliber, actually real Hall of Fame fighters, you know what I mean? Vasil Lomachenko, he lost in his second pro fight. His career's going well so far. Even Mark Too Sharp Johnson from Washington, D.C., the youngest man to ever make it into the Boxing Hall of Fame. The first African American flyweight champion, first African American super flyweight champion. Mark Too Sharp Johnson, he lost in not his pro debut, his second pro fight, a fight in England, or was it Ireland? Excuse me. So Robeisy Ramirez, man, he got dropped, got beat in his first fight, but no shame in his game. I think he's gonna come back strong for the second fight. And Adan Gonzalez was given this fight on a 2 week notice. You know what I mean? So you see stuff like that. I'm not really a fan of being guys being given. And Top Rank is famous for that, man. Bob Arum is famous for that. Quite popular for bringing up guys who ain't fought in over a year, bringing them up in inactivity and giving them a fight on short notice. So Adrian Gonzalez, if he's gonna fight for his cousins, trying to fight with a heavy heart because of his cousin being murdered in Colorado, that should be enough motivation. Then but I still feel the deck is stacked against him. He's gonna have to fight the fight of his life to beat Robeisy Ramirez in the rematch. If Robeisy Ramirez loses this fight, I'll be quite shocked, like I was the first time in the first fight. But I've seen improvement from Robeisy Ramirez, and in particular, the power punching. You know what I mean? Sitting down on punches rather than just trying to pick up points by just touching them, man. This is the hurt game, the pro boxing, and Robeisy Ramirez looks like he's ready to make it happen. Another thing Robeisy Ramirez said, basically concerning Shakur Stevenson, he says he's not rushing no Shakur Stevenson fight. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson isn't on his mind, and basically he has no pressure to fight the man Shakur Stevenson. As a matter of fact, all the pressure's on Shakur Stevenson to fight Robeisy Ramirez, because at the end of the day, it is Shakur Stevenson who has the loss, albeit in the amateurs. Who lost? Shakur Stevenson lost to Robeisy Ramirez. So it's gonna be up to Shakur Stevenson to try avenge that loss. And don't be surprised if somewhere later on down the line, Bob Arum does make that fight happen, and it'll be a spectacular fight. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to seeing Robeisy Ramirez tonight on the July 2nd, try avenge his loss. And also we'll see if he'll get be in position to get himself in world title contention. Look, he's a two-time Olympian, so he ain't got to wait till he's 19, 20, and 0 to get a world title shot. Actually, if he hadn't lost in his pro debut, Vasil Lomachenko, he got his a world title shot in his second pro fight. I'm not saying Robeisy Ramirez should either, but these guys get pushed along fast. Look at Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux became a world champion in his ninth fight. In his ninth fight, when he beat Rico Ramos for the WBA 122-pound title. You know what I mean? So Robeisy Ramirez, man, if he keeps doing what he's doing, by early next year he should be ready for. Oh Lord, what am I talking about? COVID. COVID, man. COVID is actually gonna put boxing. It's gonna set boxing back at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years before we get back into the swing of action and crowds coming, being able to come back to arenas to watch boxing. And look, fighters right now, man, nobody's really fighting no top tier opponents as of all the boxing we've watched since Top Rank came back on ESPN. Nobody's fighting no live opponents. It's a lot of tune-up fights. So Robeisy Ramirez, maybe sometime next year, maybe the end of next year, will be in world title contention. We shall see. B Marsh Boxley, your thoughts and comments. Let me know what you think about Adan Gonzalez versus Robeisy Ramirez, the rematch, and Robeisy Ramirez, the Cuban national standout, two-time gold medal Olympian. Can he avenge his pro debut loss and his only loss as a professional? All right, I'm gone. Peace.